Good morning, guys. This is it. This is pretty much the last week before we head off. I'm actually starting to feel a little bit excited now. I had a little bit of good news this morning. So, I mean, the last few days, I feel like our world has just been blowing up. We didn't really forecast for these mishaps to be happening before our wedding, and because we had something happen a few months ago, we were delayed with our wedding anyway, and then this has just been like absolutely overwhelming, to be honest. But we're here. We're still ploughing on, kind of. I won't lie, a few days ago we were thinking about cancelling, postponing our wedding, so that is where we've been mentally. So this morning, and actually today generally, I'm doing some DIYs, some nice bits. I thought I'd try and take you along. At one point I was like, I can't do a video this week, but I'm just going to try and take you along for what I can. My mum's coming up today, which is nice because hopefully she'll make me feel a little bit more sane. We are making little sashes to go around the bridesmaids' dresses, and my wonderful seamstress has helped me source some fabric for that. And I should be collecting my dress today, so hopefully I'll be bringing back my dress, getting the fabric. We'll be making those sashes, and this morning I did manage, I got up quite early and I'm going to do the little, hopefully the names for the bags for the kids too. Just deciding, I'm not sure whether to go for white, keep it really simple with a theme, or gold. We actually don't have any gold for our wedding, so maybe just white, but it's a bit boring for the kids, isn't it? Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna quickly make those. I'm also gonna put out on Instagram any questions because I might end up only having about half a video by the end of this week. This room is just an explosion of stuff. I mean, random wash towels, shirts for the groomsmen. I think there's some little flower girl dresses back there, deliveries. It's all going on. Today, I have a few things going on. I desperately need to give this house a little bit of a tidy. We are usually, not always, but we usually tidy up as we go and we don't leave things in much of a mess. Has not been the case last week. You can see I've got like invitations and ribbons. I've been cutting ribbons over here for the wedding on the side. And everything's been so busy, we've been working till so late that it's just been left. And I need to tidy that because there is a small chance of a possibility that we might have a guest staying, which we're not sure on yet and wasn't planned. So with the wedding fast approaching, I'm gonna try and get everything feeling a little bit more calm, so that if that does happen, it's basically the family member that is in hospital, and it will be like with a few days before we leave to go to the wedding, so things are going to be a little bit hectic. That's why I'm here today. It's Thursday today. I uploaded this video tomorrow. Friday is my usual upload day, and I have asked you guys on Instagram any questions because I thought I would just take you along as I tidy and as I go about today and maybe answer a few questions too. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's answer a question first. I feel like this one is appropriate. Hi Laura, how do you deal with decision fatigue? Planning what to do next when renovating? I have to say, I really enjoy renovating, and since planning a wedding, I realise how much I enjoy it and how much I don't get fatigue from it. Planning a wedding, I've got so much decision fatigue, probably the most in my life. I think it's because planning a wedding, nothing, it's gonna sound mean, but nothing like feels that important. Like, oh, what colour flowers do you want? Yeah, it's lovely to pick a colour, but does it really matter? Like, it's gonna be one day. Whereas I'm such a homebody, like I love being home and I love creating like a calm environment and just like a nice environment to be in. So it seems so worth it. And Ollie and I have been talking about this a lot, but like weddings are so pressured with the money on one day, whereas with the house we can really think and like slowly make decisions. We are renovating our house very slowly and that helps. If you're feeling overwhelmed by it, I just pull back and take it slower. Everything that we do, we really get the time to think about. We've chosen a lot of classic, like that's one thing that I will say, we always choose classic items. So like a lot of marble in the bathroom because that literally never dates. Stick with mostly neutrals, a few pops of colour. And yeah, it's pretty easy, and most things like paint you can change like really easily, but it just seems so worthwhile, whereas I'm sure the wedding will, but at the same time it just feels like a lot of money on a big party basically, which is kind of what it is. Still happy with your eyebrows? Would you do it again? Yes, I am makeup free today and I love them. I would do it again. I would definitely top them up in the future. I love having them a little bit more even and just ready to go. Getting really hot and sweaty now. Since being on YouTube, have you had any unfortunate, intrusive encounters? I hope no. No, definitely not. It's actually the most uplifting thing when people come and say hi, because usually I leave it thinking, they were so nice and they could totally be my friend, and I think that's the most wonderful thing because that's potentially why you've connected with me in the first place, and that is really, really nice to know. But I do sometimes get a situation where I feel somebody looking at me for too long and it feels a bit awkward, and for me, the immediate thing that I think is, oh, I've done something wrong. Did I walk in their way? Have I got something on my face? Can you see my bra? Like, what is going on? Why are they looking at me? I've done something wrong. I don't think, oh, I'm online, they might recognise me, because in the grand scheme of things, I think I'm so insignificant online and most people don't know me. But it's actually funny how many people do come and say hi. And I'm often shocked at how often it happens. Favorite holiday destination and why? So hard because I love holidays, but I think probably one of the most memorable ones would have to be Canada. We were in a time of our lives where it was just so carefree. We were living in London and we weren't that much younger. Maybe it was like 5 or so years ago, but I feel like the last 5 years with the house and like responsibility and everything, we were a lot more carefree then basically, and it was just so much fun. We were outdoors the whole time. We went with friends as well, so we had like a nice combination of being on our own a bit, also being with friends, and Ollie has family out there, so we also saw family. It was just the most wonderful trip. I think we were there for about 2 weeks, which also helped. But yeah, really love Canada. And it was one of our favourite style holidays as well. We did a road trip, so we went from Vancouver up to Calgary and stopped in a few places on the way, and then the way back I drove. Anyway, some funny stories from that trip, but it was really wonderful. Which wedding planner did you use? You're looking right at her. Just me. Hey, are there any rooms in your house you've decorated and you want to change again? Yes. However, these were the ones that I think at the time I knew I would want to change again. So the ones that I'm really dying to do are on the middle floor at the back, which with like that green room, if you guys remember, like a spare room, and also the blue bathroom. They're the rooms in the house that get used the least, and they were the quickest, probably like cheapest rooms that we did. And so I'm looking forward to turning them into rooms that we actually use and love at some point, because right now the green room, as we call it, is just used as a dumping ground, and we use that bathroom as a bit of like a messy wet room. So like if we have to mop something, we get a bucket and pour the bucket down in that bathroom and that kind of thing. It's quite practical. It's a bit like our utility room in a way. We also shower in that one when we're really dirty instead of going in the marble shower. So gross, but it's so true. Somebody asked about the favourite room. It has to be this one. Not necessarily because it's the nicest room or the best decorated, but just the feel of it. Being able to come in here, looking out on the garden, having the lovely comfy sofa, doors open in the summer. I love having this space back. Sent our stationery off to be printed yesterday. That's why there's a printer in here, because I didn't want to be running up and down the stairs. It actually lives in our hallway cupboard on the top floor. Another set of gorgeous sweet peas from Grams, this time some lovely light pink. Can you tell I couldn't be bothered with my lunch? When I tidy the house, I don't want to make any mess, any dishes. Tonight we will have an easy meal, and the thought of having lunch and messing it all up in between, too much. Sorry, our dishwasher is so noisy. I've got it on for the second time today. I've got the oven, grill and stuff in there after having given them a little wash. Quite a few of you asking about the wedding. How much do you plan on sharing? Are you going to share all the details afterwards? Yes, definitely. I'm excited to share more of the wedding. It's been really hard not being able to talk about it, because obviously it's been such a poignant, important part of our life the last few months. And so I will be sharing details on my dress. I'm going to do a full video just on the dress, but I'll also do maybe a bit of a roundup generally of the wedding, as well as a slight vlog. I'd love to take the camera with us for a bit of the journey and a bit of the holiday, maybe even a little bit of the honeymoon, but I don't know what I will get. Maybe not a lot of talking, but just picking up some of the scenery and what's happening. And then we've also got a lovely videographer, Frances, who is going to be doing our wedding day, and she's planning on getting that video back to us 2 weeks after the wedding, so actually really soon, which will be really nice, because I'll be able to share that kind of hopefully not that long afterwards. Lots of wedding questions. Will your wedding be different to what you imagine it would be like when you were younger? I'll be honest, I wish that I had thought about and imagined our wedding more. We've been together over 8.5 years by the time that we get married, and when we got engaged I had no idea what we wanted. I was really focused on other things in life, and maybe in hindsight a wedding wasn't that important to me, but I didn't really know that. I didn't have a plan. Yes, I had some kind of ideas which were like along my style of classic and slightly traditional and that kind of thing, but I really wish I thought about it more, because I didn't realize how much a bride is expected to do for the wedding. Pretty much everything, I'll be honest. And it's not just for like not other people wanting to help, but for example, we went to see a florist in Lake Como, and I actually had my parents there and I had Ollie there, and the lady directed everything to me. She didn't look at anybody else. She didn't take anybody else's answers. So if somebody else answered, she'd like still wait for me to answer. So there's so much pressure on a bride, and I really thought that I wish that I had thought about it a bit more beforehand. But you're so kind of, in a way, you're taught and programmed to be like, well, don't until you're engaged, don't think about your wedding, don't think about what you might want. Like, it's a bit of an embarrassment to have a Pinterest board or that kind of thing. Really wish I had. What are your thoughts on unsupportive parents in terms of career choice? Help. I always feel like communication is key, and really explaining what you want to do in life, where you want to go. Obviously your parents will have your best interest at heart, and the only reason why hopefully they might not be unsupportive is because they are worried about you. So really explaining what you want, why you're making those choices, and also maybe a give and take if you know that they are worried about it or a reason why they are. A plan B, let them know that you are thinking of other options and plan Bs, and you're really being sensible about your decision making. There are a lot of different careers out there now than our parents would have had, and I think sometimes it's just knowing how it works and really working it through with them. Also, sometimes parents just like to be involved, so kind of like try and get them involved with it as much as you can. I often find that helps, but if they're just being unsupportive to be unsupportive, then just gotta do what you gotta do. Career is very important, and being happy in that is also very important. So to a certain extent, you got to put yourself first. Love to see your non-sweet update. I'm afraid it hasn't changed. It hasn't changed from the last Reno video. In fact, I haven't even been in there. It just felt really strange. Ollie and I were talking about it the other day, how it was such a big part of our lives and now it's just non-existent. We haven't walked in there, we haven't touched it for the last few weeks. It just has not been a priority, and we're so looking forward to getting back to it. It really shows how much we do enjoy it, but maybe this break will have semi been good for us and we will be way more motivated to get back into it. Timetable to complete the master bedroom. I really hope by the end of the year. I'm already imagining Christmas, guys. I'm already thinking of winter and yeah, cozying up in there. But at the same time, I'm really learning that it just doesn't matter. Life will take you where it wants to take you, and it will be done when it wants to be done. I'm sorry if you can see couscous in my teeth. Maybe this isn't quite the nicest thing for you guys whilst I eat my lunch. How do you manage your budget and save for the house and wedding? I would say this is the hardest thing. This is the hardest thing in life, and it's the one thing that we're constantly struggling with and juggling. It might look easy online. I really hope that we don't make it look totally easy, but I find it really difficult. Obviously, finances is something that most people don't talk about a lot. Just knowing where to put your money when, and every situation is different, whether to prioritize a pension or save for a house. A lot of the time you just can't do it all. And for us this year, as you may have noticed from the videos, we have had to pull back from the house a little bit to let the wedding take priority. A wedding's only going to come once in our life, hopefully. And the house is going to be here for the next few years. So we've kind of been prioritizing that. And just to be really, really honest, we're just not great at it. We're really not great at it. I can manage my money and make sure that I'm not in my overdraft all of the time, but it's a juggle. And if it makes any of you feel better right now, I've got no savings. I've got my house. That is my biggest investment right now. And our house has actually made a good income over the last few years. House prices have gone up a lot, but just with the house prices going up, we think it's been worth it. But if our roof leaks tomorrow, then we will be in trouble. Just like that, we're basically back to winter. Oh dear, I need to get this room back to normal. Honestly, I promise our house is not normally like this. I am going to try and get on with the rest of the sashes now. This is the one that I did the other day. I never ended up ironing it out, so I need to press that one. And then I need to get going with another few. But before that, I'm not sure if you can see this information here, but I got to tidy all this up again. I don't want to do this. I don't know where to start. still pouring. I have pretty much finished the sashes. I just need to hand stitch the edge, which I'm going to do tonight in front of the TV because it's the best time to do it. And now I'm making the ribbons for the menus for the wedding. If you guys watched, I think it was like a wedding Q&A video that I did, I've made our invitations and I used this fabric to make the ribbons because ribbon is really expensive, especially if you want like this frayed edge kind of look. It just keeps focusing on me. It doesn't want to focus on it, but you get the gist, that kind of ribbon. So I've bought, I know some of you guys asked in that video and I cannot find where I bought this. I've typed into my emails, fabric, plush fabric. Yeah, I just bought it off a random website online. And then it gets all messy like this and you kind of have to neaten it off. So I'm doing that because our invites arrive tomorrow. Not our invites. Can you tell? I'm a bit weary with the wedding now. Our menus arrive tomorrow. The rest of our stationery arrives tomorrow. We've also got a night before thing and I've been making a green ribbon for the night before. From actually, this one wasn't from fabric. This one was from a ribbon that I bought off of Amazon, but I've cut it in half to try and make the most out of it and make it go a little bit further. So when all of that arrives tomorrow, I'll be able to like judge the quantity and start wrapping them and also the length. Obviously, this is still the full length of the fabric, but I don't want to cut it until I know. Again, I want to try and make the most out of it. Anyway, let's answer a few more questions. Few of these are popping up. Do you and Ollie want a dog anytime soon or after the reno is done? Do you want any pets? Ollie is so dog broody, it's unbelievable. I'm pretty sure by the end of this year we will have a dog. We just need to kind of like settle on a breed. Yeah, and find the right doggo basically. But I'll literally sends me videos of dogs every day. Every day without fail, he'll send me a video of a dog. And don't get me wrong, I've also been very much looking forward to us having a little dog in the family. But the timing just hasn't felt right. And especially with our wedding and all of our close family and friends going to the wedding, we would have had to have put the dog into kennels or something like that. So we decided, wait until the wedding. But then after that, we will be on the search, which is exciting. Any tips, let us know below. Literally, where do we even start? A few questions on advice about weddings. What advice do you have for weddings and budgeting? And I'm going to be really honest with this one. We have not done very well with wedding. We've had a lot of bad luck, so I'm not just putting it on us. But we are a few weeks away from our wedding and we are exceedingly disorganised with not a lot still planned. Honestly, I would say that I'm quite an organised person because of the situations that we have had. It's meant that we just haven't had the time for the wedding. We haven't been able to prioritise it. So when I said our stationery was coming tomorrow, it was the last date that I could get it sent off, that I got it sent off to print. So maybe just don't leave things so late. If you've got like a year and a half to plan, just get it done if you can. I feel like this isn't helpful at all, but a lot of people ask about my skincare routine, which is really sweet, but my skin just isn't the best. The reason that it is glowy is because I've got really oily skin. I naturally just have really oily skin. I break out a lot. I was on Roaccutane a few years back. I still get, as you guys may notice, hormonal spots come up around my chin area because my skin is so oily and it literally it's just so oily. And I don't want that to just sound like, oh, I'm so lucky, I have lovely glowy skin. But it's the bane of my skin in my eyes because I am always breaking out. But my mum always said to me when I was younger, when I was a teenager and I was always getting spots, she was like, well, you'll have a lot less wrinkles than all of your friends when you're older. And I feel like it's true. So if you're a teen and you're breaking out, you know, you'll thank that later on in life. But yeah, so I put very, very, very little on my skin because I'm constantly worried that it is going to be breaking out. And I also worry a lot about recommending products because when I suffered from quite bad acne, I'd go online and I'd be searching for some miracle to, help it, and it just didn't exist for me personally, for my skin. If I put any product on it that was for acne prone skin, it would just make it worse. So my skin's quite sensitive and it just likes to be left. And I keep it natural, and I don't use a lot of powder or anything to get rid of it. I just let it be greasy, basically. It doesn't sound very nice, does it? Oily, I guess I should say. Grass is always greener on the other side, isn't it? When you've got oily skin, you want dry skin. When you've got dry skin, you want oily skin. So for skincare, I literally use a balm to take off my makeup or wash my face. I love the Elemis one, Eve Lom, and Hardy. And then at the moment, I've only been putting on Good Genes. I think it's Good Genes rather than Good Gene. Yeah, Good Genes by Sunday Riley. Morning and night. I haven't been putting any makeup on during the day to just let my skin settle a little bit, hopefully before the wedding. And I use a Dr. Jar moisturizer, and that is pretty much it, because less is more when it comes to my skin. Okay, I think I'm going to end the questions, at least for now, on best and worst parts of wedding planning, partly because Ollie and I were talking about this just yesterday, and the best part at the moment, we haven't had our wedding, hopefully that will be the best part, has been the dance lessons. We have loved it, both of us, like hands down, it's our favourite part. I think it's because everything else is quite stressful. It's like paying invoices, deciding how much money you want to spend on things, choosing the food. It's like all decision making, whereas the dancing has been something physical that we can go and do together, and it's something that we would have just never picked. Like we would just never would have chosen to do dance lessons, and it's so much fun. I mean, we're both terrible at dancing, so it's not anything special, but we've just really enjoyed it. I would highly recommend, if you're doing a wedding, planning a wedding, to pick something like that that's like a fun activity that you and your partner can do, that kind of takes you away from all of the other stresses of organising. Dancing anyway is just wonderful for stress, but putting that tune on, so we're doing our like first dance song, so putting that one on and dancing around to it with our teacher and kind of singing along to it has just been a lot of fun. The worst part, I think, has just been generally planning a wedding. God, the logistics, the time that's been put into it, the money that's been put into it is a lot. I'm now left with what could I do with this? There's nothing useful really, is there? I think I'll just have to go in the bin. I've got my ribbon on the other side though, waiting for tomorrow. And I think I'm going to leave this one here, because I'm going to pick you up again when we start packing in the next few days and take you along on the actual journey. I'm really looking forward to that. We're kind of in, I don't want to say like this tough time now, but we're still in that like little stressful bit just before, where you're trying to get everything done and together and in place. I think in the next few days, it's going to be like, well, it's too late now. Whatever's done's been done, and we've done our best. We're just going to have to pack, make sure we take the most important things and go. And I'm so looking forward to it. I feel kind of bad too. Some of the questions were like how are you finding it and how are you feeling? And I'll be honest, I'm feeling really overwhelmed and I'm feeling a little bit tired, and I really just want it to come now. Like I just want it to be here, but at the same time I'm trying to remember to enjoy it and like not wanting to wish it away. I'm actually really glad in so many ways, because of my personality, that it is abroad, because we are there a few days before the wedding. And I think if I had been home and we hadn't have had any events before the wedding, I would have just been like stressing right up to the minute. But because we're there, it's just like, well, what will be will be. And that's one thing with a destination or abroad wedding. You can have it that you choose every single detail, but because we didn't want to spend the earth, we're also having to just be quite open-minded with what we have and what we turn up to. For example, we haven't hired chairs and tablecloths and stuff like that. We've got a lovely florist who's doing like some beautiful designs and flowers, and she's like more of the aesthetics of the day. But generally, once we're there, and that'll be nice. But yeah, I'm hoping to take you along on everything. So the day before, when I'm doing all the flowers for that evening and getting together the invites and maybe even setting that table a little bit. So there will be lots of wedding things coming up, but for the next few weeks, you may not be hearing from me over here. So make sure you're following me over on Instagram, because unfortunately that is just an easier platform for me to post a photo or post a few little quick snapshots. It's a weird mix of emotions at the moment, like excited, but nervous, a bit anxious, a bit excited. But yeah, I'm looking forward to taking you guys along. Thank you for being so wonderful the last few weeks. I really do feel so lucky because I know that so many of you will only watch a certain amount of creators online, and you've chosen to take the time to watch and invest in me. So thank you for coming along on this journey with us, and I'm really excited for this next chapter. See you on the other side. Bye.